The pancreas is one of a group of glands large enough to need septa or cords of connective tissue, breaking the gland up into lobules. This section of the pancreas has been stained with a Masson trichrome stain, which emphasizes the stroma, which stains bright blue. And within these stromal elements, ducts and blood vessels can be seen. Here is an artery and a large interlobular duct over here. The magnification is not high enough to see all the details, nor details of these smaller blood vessels and ducts scattered about. The pancreas demonstrates several further glandular features of interest. First, it's actually two glands in one. Most of the tissue is a compound acinar exocrine gland, with acinar secretory units and ducts. This exocrine portion makes up the darker staining bulk of the lobule. However, it also includes clusters of endocrine cells. The endocrine portion is a series of pancreatic islets, or islets of Langerhans, that you can see as small, rounded, paler areas embedded within the lobules of exocrine glandular tissue. These pancreatic islets produce insulin, among other things. Their destruction leads to diabetes, as you undoubtedly know. I'll describe these pancreatic islets in my lecture series on the endocrine system. The connective tissue divides the pancreas into lobules of various shapes and sizes. Tissue shrinkage has exaggerated the divisions of lobules, which is really useful to us, I think, as we can better appreciate its lobular structure more clearly. I'm going to use this section to show you some details of the duct system, but then I'll show you another section, a hematoxylin and eosin stain section, to view details of the secretory acini, as here the secretory acini are mostly stained far too intensely to see details within them. Note this large interlobular duct lined with simple columnar epithelium and stratified areas as well, probably stratified cuboidal as the cell nuclei towards the lumen around it. This duct is heavily invested with collagenous connective tissue. Small blood vessels are also present. And you can see here what I mean when I told you the secretory acini were overstained. The relationship of the various ducts to the lobular structure of the pancreas is a little different to those of the main salivary glands, those that deliver their secretory products via ducts into the oral cavity. The intralobular ducts are of the intercalated variety. See this one here, between the serous acini as a small duct lined with a low cuboidal epithelium. The ducts vary substantially in size, being very small as they leave the individual acini and growing as they progressively fuse. Eventually they'll form an excretory duct which leaves the lobule. The secretory acini have an interesting specialization, and that is that they include centroacinar cells. When a terminal intercalated duct meets an acinus, it protrudes into it, so that some duct cells lie right in the middle of the acinus. This is one reason that the acini are irregular in shape. The centroacinar cells appear as cells with an elongated nucleus and are an extra nucleus or two in the middle of those acini which have been sectioned through their center. You can see the odd one here and here. They and the other intercalated duct cells secrete an alkaline fluid under the command of the hormone secretin to help neutralize the pH of the material passing into the duodenum from the stomach. So let me now show you another section of the pancreas stained with hematoxylin and eosin. The pancreatic parenchyma has a pink color And again, the lobules of the pancreas are separated by interlobular septa of connective tissue, although there has been less tissue shrinkage in this preparation, and so lobules are not as obvious. Within the connective tissue, you can just see some small intralobular ducts with a simple cuboidal epithelium. And again, the endocrine portion is the series of pancreatic islets, or islets of Langerhans, that you can see as these rounded, paler areas embedded within the lobules. A lobule is filled with irregularly shaped acini showing 2 to 10 nuclei in each. The nuclei are located at the basal end of the cell, which is distinctly basophilic. This is where the rough or granular endoplasmic reticulum of the cell and numerous ribosomes are located. The upper half of the cell is packed with eosinophilic secretory granules. Where the preservation is good, the granules are visible as eosinophilic dots in the tops of the cells. The main function of these acinar cells is to synthesize and secrete digestive enzymes for the small intestine. They have to secrete some water as well. The trypsinogen, chymotrypsinogen, nucleases and other enzymes obviously don't just sift through the ducts as a powder, but their main product is proteinaceous. Actually, it's the duct cells that secrete most of the water. And the many pale stained cells are centroacinar cells that I mentioned earlier.